is up, guys? Thank you for tuning into the Start Today podcast. I'm your host, Chris Cavallini. And today, guys, we're not fucking around. We're going to jump right into it. And not only are we going to jump right into it, but I'm going to tell you a story that I've never spoken on publicly, okay? We're going to take it back to Monday, February 26th, 2018, all right? At the time that this episode is airing, that was just 15 short months ago. That was the day that I started to truly understand just how powerful the human mind is. All right. And I had this realization and made this discovery when I woke up in the hospital, not knowing how I had gotten there, being rushed to receive multiple emergency blood transfusions, laying on a gurney in my own piss and shit. All right. Now, before we go any further with that, I want to give you some context and a little bit of perspective as to the events leading up to me ending up in that situation. Because I will tell you, I didn't know that there was anything wrong with me. I had, been going really, really hard, for a long time. I had a lot of things going on. I had made some, massive progress, but just to back it up, some of you that, know my story, if you've been listening to the podcast, you've been following me on social, you know that 2015 was a very hard year for me. Although it was the hardest year of my life, it also turned out to be, the catalyst for me to essentially change everything, to step up, to go all in, to draw a line in the sand and really start getting after it. All right. 2015, that was the year that I had gotten arrested for crimes that I'd committed 3 years prior. Okay. I underwent a 3.5 month legal process where I was facing 24 months in prison and essentially had to prepare myself and my entire life to go away for 24 months. Okay. I lost my best friend to a heroin overdose, and I came very, very, very close to losing my business. So after that, when I was given a second chance by the universe, when the judge looked favorably upon my circumstances and the things that I'd done, the strides that I'd made to better myself, I was given a second chance. I was given an opportunity and essentially a new lease on life. And that was one that I knew I could not take for granted. So I decided to just fucking 10x everything and go harder than I'd ever have in my entire life and just go all in. All right. And, 2016, 2017, those were very, very challenging years for me. Although on paper, they were very successful. Okay. I was able to scale my company massively over 500%. That's when I really started, catching some momentum with my personal brand. I stepped up my community involvement and just became like a higher version of myself due to the fact that I decided to raise my standards. Now, again, on paper, things look good, but behind the scenes, it was fucking chaos. All right. Because when you raise your standards as high as I did, you have to understand that like that type of change, that type of growth, it does not come without adversity. And unfortunately, a lot of people shell up in the face of adversity. A lot of people go running when things get hard. A lot of people freak the fuck out when encountered with any type of change. And the fact is, if you're trying to change your life in any way, shape, or form, you have to fucking change. So things were going well on paper, but behind the scenes, it was fucking chaos. It was sucking every ounce of energy out of my soul. I legitimately forfeited any social life. I was working 12 to 15-hour days, basically every fucking day. I was doing legitimately, no exaggeration. If I had to put up an accurate number on it, I would say that I was conservatively doing the jobs of 7 fucking people. But you know what? I didn't complain. I did what I had to fucking do to get where it is that I wanted to be. And during this time, we faced a lot of adversity. When you're a growing company, which we went from being a local company, a local subpar, mediocre or less than local company, to being a national company and being the most dominant force in this entire industry. So during that time, I had some people that were with me at the time, some people on my team that like went rogue on me. I had a a bunch of people legitimately walk out in the middle of shifts. I had people just, there was essentially a coup going on in one of my departments. And, there was things going around being said that like, I didn't give a fuck about the team. All I cared about is money. I'm fake. I don't really give a fuck about helping people. All the shit that I say is just for show. It was essentially when we were trying to create the culture that now, exists within Nutrition Solutions, there were obviously people in the organization at that time that didn't stand for the things that I was trying to build this culture upon. So it was met with resistance. It was met with oppression. It was met with a shit ton of malevolence. But nevertheless, I kept pushing forward. I kept going hard, and I kept doing everything that I needed to do to get this company where I knew we would one day be. And I lost a lot of people, but I gained a lot of experience. I gained a lot of knowledge. And as we weeded out some of the shit, we started to attract better people. But when I tell you it consumed every fucking ounce of energy that I had, I'm not exaggerating. All right. During that time, I still stayed very active with my workouts. That has been something I've never compromised. It's something I never, gave up due to whatever was going on in my life. I mean, in fact, that's probably the only thing at the time that was keeping me sane at that time, and a couple others. But outside of that, I legitimately had no energy to do anything. And a lot of times when I did have free time, I'd be face down on my fucking bed, laying with my dog. All right. So guys, understand that like during this time, I mean, I was tired. I was run down. I was stressed all the fucking time. When I wasn't working, I was laying in my bed thinking about all of the fucking problems that I still had going on, all the issues that I had to sort out, all of the shit that I knew that I had to, essentially walk into and confront the next day. All right. I started getting like, lightheaded, like randomly. And I didn't really think anything of it because I was so busy. I had so much shit going on. I would literally sometimes stand up, get so lightheaded, I have to put my hand like against a surface to kind of like steady myself. And it would take like 10 to 15 seconds to normalize. And I just didn't even think about it. I just kept going, doing what I had to do. Right. There were times where I started getting like intermittent, these deep, crazy stabbing chest pains. And, when you go on WebMD and, you try to diagnose yourself, you type in your symptoms, the thing that popped up was something called pleurisy. Right. And I thought that that's what it was. So the problem with the pleurisy, on top of the fact that I wasn't getting a lot of sleep to begin with, what I thought was pleurisy, the chest pains that I was having, they were exacerbated when I laid down. So I couldn't fucking sleep at night. Imagine going to lay down, being literally mentally and physically exhausted and not being able to fucking fall asleep because you have stabbing chest pains that are shooting through your chest out through your back. So I was dealing with that. There were times where, I would essentially go to the bathroom. And after I went to the bathroom, I would look into the toilet like we all fucking do after we go to the bathroom. And I would see like black feces in there. And again, didn't think anything of it. All right. I had work to do. I had shit that I had to take care of. And honestly, it always ended up correcting itself. So no factor. My health, unbeknownst to me, started rapidly deteriorating. I got to a point, I would say the last 6 months of 2017, I was legitimately like using cocaine and using Oxycontin to keep myself up and to keep myself going, to keep myself grinding fucking hard, to keep myself, literally, I would do cocaine before I went to the gym sometimes. That's how fucking run down I was. But again, I attributed it to the grind. I'm like, this is what they talk about, and all the entrepreneurs, they talk about how hard it was, I'm thinking that that's what the hell's going on. I would get up, I would pull myself out of bed every fucking day, and I would go do the things that I needed to do. But it would get to a point around 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon where I was physically fucking exhausted. And I attributed it to all the mental energy that I was deploying. So I would legitimately have to go lay down for like 30 minutes. And I would tell you guys, I'm not, although I love sleep, don't get me wrong, I am not one to go sleep and take naps in the middle of the day. That's just not in my DNA. All right. I like to lay my head down comfortably at night knowing I've earned that night of sleep. All right. But I was at a point where I was physically fucking exhausted. I would have to lay down legitimately every day for about 30 to 45 minutes. I would then use cocaine or Adderall, or cocaine and Adderall, to bring myself back up and go execute the latter part of my day. There were no excuses. Okay. I had a team that needed leadership. I had goals that needed to be conquered, and I needed to do what I had to do to claim my place and plant my fucking flag on the top of the mountain. All right. Fast forward to February 24th, 2018, 2 days before I woke up in the hospital, not realizing how I got there. I legitimately started that weekend more tired than I'd ever been in my entire life. I mean, I was fucking exhausted. I thought to myself, you know what? I've been going hard. I'm gonna sleep today. And I literally slept all fucking day. I've never done anything like that in recent years. And then I ended up sleeping all day the next day. So I legitimately slept for almost 48 hours straight, something I had never done before. And I was like, you know what? I've been grinding hard for 2 years. This is good. My body needs it, whatever. I was unaware of what was really going on. Okay. I decided to overlook the black feces that was now becoming increasingly more common. Every time I went to the bathroom, I decided to not really think that the crazy dizzy spells and almost passing out sometimes when I stood up. Again, I just completely fucking ignored it. Just kept doing what I had to do because I had shit to do. I was focused. I was locked in. I slept for 2 days straight, and I was a little stressed out about it. I was like, man, I can't even remember the last time I'd missed 2 days from the gym. I was like, so, all right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get up at 4:50 Monday morning. I'm going to start the week hard on a very, very aggressive note. I'll get up at 4:50, do an outdoor workout in the morning, then hit another workout at night to catch up. My alarm goes off on Monday morning, and I physically could not get out of bed. Again, most mornings I wake up and I'm tired, just like all of you. But I get up and I go. And after a few minutes, guess what? I'm not fucking tired anymore. Something was different this day, and I couldn't get out of bed. And I would say around 6:45, 7 o'clock, I finally pulled myself up, walked to the bathroom, sat down to use the bathroom, got up, looked in the toilet, saw the most just insane sight of just a cesspool of just black blood in the toilet. Again, no factor. It was time to go train. I flushed the toilet. I took about 2 steps and I passed out. I hit the ground and I woke up almost immediately because I'd hit my head on the side of my bathtub. And I propped myself up and I quickly assessed the situation and came to the conclusion that I was in a lot of trouble. Okay. Every pore in my body had opened up and I was sweating profusely. My heart was beating so fucking fast. I could hear and feel my heartbeat in my toes and in my head. I thought I was having a heart attack. I couldn't move. I couldn't get up. I couldn't talk. Every time I tried to stand up, I would get even more out of breath than I already was. But I knew I needed help. And I knew that I had to figure out a way to get to my cell phone, which was about 30 foot away in my bedroom. So because I couldn't get up, I started to crawl. One step at a time with my arms, inch by inch, I finally got to my bed. I grabbed my phone and I sent 2 text messages. The first text was to the valet in my building, who I know are on top of it and man that phone. And I said, call 911. I think I'm having a heart attack. The second message I sent was to my best friend who also works with me. And I messaged him, letting him know that I thought I was having a heart attack and to please have somebody come get my dog. All right. From that point on, I don't remember anything until I woke up in the hospital, being transported in a gurney, seeing people around me that I didn't know who the fuck they were or what the hell was happening. And coming to the realization that I had actually shit myself in transit. All right, guys, making a long story short, due to my own ignorance, due to me thinking that because I eat good and work out and take supplements and I'm healthy in my mind, the poster child of health over here, I made the decision for whatever reason. I mean, it was unconscious. It wasn't really conscious. I didn't go to a doctor or give blood work for 5.5 to 6 years. Okay. I didn't get a checkup. I didn't get blood work. In my mind, I thought I was doing all the right things. I felt whatever I felt. I thought I felt good. I convinced myself. I stayed positive. I always, had my game face on despite feeling fucking terrible behind the scenes. So basically what had happened is somewhere down the line, I'd got something called H. pylori. All right. Which basically is something that causes stomach ulcers and internal bleeding. And what the physicians and, the 15 doctors and specialists that were working with me, because my case was so fucking rare, came to the conclusion of is that I'd been internally bleeding at that point for anywhere between 36 to 60 months, because my blood levels had gotten so fucking low that it was no longer sustainable with human life. Hence why I passed out. The level of blood in my body got to a point where I could not physically sustain function anymore. And the reason my heart was beating at damn near heart attack level is because my heart was trying to do everything it could to create more blood to support my body's internal functions. All right. I also, due to my underlying condition, had been suffering from severe anemia. All right. Which, again, we talk about poster childs. At that point, I would have been the poster child for, anemics. When you think of people with anemia, and there's a certain stigma and image that comes to mind. And it certainly wasn't me, but I neglected my health. And this is the situation that I ended up in. All right. Basically, my red blood cell count and the conditions that were associated with everything that I had going on. The research that these specialists did, they literally found only 25 other people that had been in my situation actually survived. All right. I received 4 blood transfusions and 2 iron transfusions. To give you a little context to that, okay? There are people who get shot with a fucking shotgun who maybe they'll get 2 blood transfusions. All right, my shit was fucked up, and it was fucked up for a long time. But my body would adjust. It's like as my blood level would drop, my body would just kind of adjust to the level of shittiness. And moreover, mentally, I would fucking adjust. And although I was operating at what they told me was between 20% at my worst time and 40% at best, my body was only operating at 20 to 40% of its capabilities. But beyond that, I was still able to scale what at the time was a substandard, mediocre local company, all right, with a team of nothing but felons, ex-convicts, former addicts, and just a band of misfits. All right, we were able to scale to a national company, all right, become the most dominant force in the fucking space, despite having at the time, several leaders that work with me go running when adversity was faced. All right. So I don't think that it's asking too much, that if I can do that, I don't think it's asking too much to expect that other people commit 1 hour a day, just 1 hour a day invested to their own personal development, whereas they're able to live and experience their best life. All right. I don't think that, it's unreasonable for me during that time, despite damn near being on my fucking deathbed, still honoring my word. Okay. And living with integrity, which is very important to me, and continuing to donate hundreds of thousands of dollars in the community to the less fortunate, to feed the homeless, to take care of children who suffer from food insecurity. All right. And also into the personal development of my team so I can help them become better people. All right. So because I was able to do that during that time, I don't know that like it's asking too much to expect that other people be kind to one another, right? Just be nice to each other. Be grateful, be positive, be optimistic, and be thankful for the life that you are blessed with because you only get one. And during this time, I did something that multiple doctors told me was actually impossible. They said with my circumstances, with my blood count being where it was, being that I was a severe anemic, they said it was physically and medically impossible for me to build muscle. Well, I will tell you, in 2016 and 2017, I got in the best shape of my life physically, mentally, and from a cardiovascular standpoint. Okay. I set a goal in 2017 to grow my legs and get my legs on point with the rest of my body because they'd never been. And I made that fucking happen, despite the doctors and the books saying it was physically impossible. So forgive me if sometimes I may come across as a little insensitive when I hear people making excuses about the fact they don't have fucking time to eat good or work out, or saying things like, oh, no matter what I do, I can never lose weight. No matter what I do, I just can't like get in shape. And this doesn't work. Bullshit. It's bullshit. Now, I know some of you guys say those things because you're simply unaware and currently you believe the things you're saying to be true. Well, now you know just how fucking powerful the human mind is. You see, I didn't know what was wrong with me. And although I had all these symptoms and I felt the way that I did, and I was only operating at 20 to 40% of what I'm supposed to operate at and what our bodies are designed to operate at, I still was able to scale my life and arrive at a better place personally, professionally, mentally, emotionally, just across the board. I was able to improve on the quality of life of all of the people around me at the time. And I was able to legitimately, those were the years that I put my name on the map and that Nutrition Solutions became recognized. So please understand that you are capable of so much more. But you have to believe. You have to understand that there are absolutely no limits or challenges that you can rise up to and conquer if you decide to engage in the power of your mind. Guys, this was a very short podcast, all right? About 20 minutes. I highly suggest you go back and listen to it again because everybody, regardless of where you're at, regardless of, if you're just starting out, if you're already extremely successful, just know that you've possibly and more than likely only tapped in to about 20 to 30% of what you are truly fucking capable of. And that's pretty awesome. So go back and listen to this again. All right. Share this with somebody who, you feel could benefit. And guys, moreover, start realizing that your potential is absolutely unfucking limited. You got to know that. You got to believe, and you have to take action accordingly. All right? Because I know that you guys tune into this podcast because you have the desire and you have the ambition, you have the dream to be something more. And I'm telling you, whatever it is that you have a goal to be, that's not enough. Okay. That's the 20 to 30% version. Understand that whatever that goal is, whatever that dream, you are capable of 100 times more than that. And that should fire you the fuck up. All right. But belief and belief alone isn't enough. You have to back up that belief. You have to back up those goals and those dreams with consistent, hard, efficient work, and understanding that part of the work is continuing to invest your time as you are right now into your personal development. because this message today, I know for a fact, there's some of you out there that is going, like, if you guys really listen, if you really hear what I'm saying, this will change your life forever. And I'm so fucking pumped up for you guys that applies. And I look forward to hearing just how impactful this message was for you. And I look forward to hearing about your progress down the road. Because whatever it is that you're striving for, understand, like, you're going to get that, make that happen, but understand that it's not the end of the road. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and say it's just the beginning. All right, raise your standards, raise the bar, aim higher, and just fucking get after it. Guys, you already know the drill. Start today.